What's up, Tiger fans? It's Morgan Thomas here with the Morgan Thomas Show, and in this video, I'm going to give you my thoughts and preview the Clemson versus Syracuse game tonight at 7 o'clock. Before we get into the video, make sure you like this video and you subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us over on Facebook so you can stay up to date on all of our exclusive Clemson content we put out every single week. Oh, and don't forget about Twitter as well, at the Morgan T Show. All right, so Clemson versus Syracuse on ESPN, 7 p.m. Clemson 3-2 overall, 2-1 in the conference. Syracuse 3-3 overall, 0-2 in the conference. The matchup predictor for ESPN FPI, which I say be careful with, has Clemson at an 87.2% chance of winning the game. It's going to be a interesting Friday night for Tiger fans and Orange fans as well. As you know, not only are Syracuse Orange the orange, but they also are going to be wearing all orange, which, you know, as a Clemson fan myself, I think it's a little bit of a shot there, and there's going to be some hype to the game. You dare to wear all orange versus the Clemson Tigers? Oh man, you know, I can't wait to see what happens. I'm looking forward to seeing the Clemson Tigers play because they had a bye week last week, and you know, they've been struggling to find their way into the end zone. It seems like they're incrementally getting a little better here and there and not improving here and there as well. So there are things still to iron out, things still to improve on and get more confidence in. In my opinion, it all starts with the quarterback. But with a bye week, you got to hope that the team resets and starts fresh. As you saw on my Twitter account, if you look at PFF's strength of schedule rating, the first half of the year, Clemson had the most difficult, or the second most difficult schedule in the ACC. Actually, I believe like 14th overall in the nation as far as strength of schedule goes, right behind Miami, who had 10th. Now, the rest of the season, Clemson's strength of schedule is 75th in the nation and is the easiest among all ACC teams for remaining schedule. So Clemson has a path that they can go and win out. They can still be a 10-2 team where they stand right now. So lots to be encouraged about and not give up. This season is definitely not over, but there are going to be challenges for sure. And it starts with Friday night's game against the Syracuse Orange. So you have DJ coming in, you know, struggling a little bit to find a rhythm. I went to the Boston College game, and it just seems like a comedy of all mistakes, right? He throws 3 passes over the guy's head, and on the 4th pass, it's a perfect pass, and the wide receiver drops it, right? On the 5th pass, you know, the offensive line doesn't hold up, so he gets flustered in the pocket. And there's all these different things that go on that are causing the offense to sputter and not look like what they've used to looking like. But again, for me, I'm more curious about what the offense looks like than versus the defense. I know a lot of people are talking about Garrett Schrader and Sean Tucker and how Clemson's going to attack that team or prevent them from running all over them. That is an interesting storyline as well. But for me, it's still, number one is the offense. What will Clemson do to improve? Right now, if you look at the team stats, points per game, Syracuse, which preseason was everybody thought was going to be one of the worst teams in the ACC, 31 points per game. Clemson, which everyone thought was going to be the best team in the ACC, one of the best teams in the nation, only 21 points per game. And if you take out SC State, if you take out overtime, it's even worse than that. Now, on the flip side, the defense allowing only 12.2 points a game, one of the best in the nation, and Syracuse allowing 24 points per game. The last 5 games, as you know, BC, Clemson squeaked away with a win at the very end, not allowing a touchdown and getting a fumble recovery from KJ Henry. And then before that was the overtime loss to NC State, 27-21. For the Syracuse last 2 games, you're looking at they played Wake Forest till the very end and lost in overtime at the very last play of the game. And then Florida State as well lost 33-30 in the very last play of the game as well. So Syracuse is definitely sticking around. They haven't gotten over the hump and found a way to win. And so they still have their own things that they're worried about. Now, this is the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. It's going to be about 76 degrees outside in New York, but it's going to be inside in the dome. And as Dabo has mentioned, it's hot. Most years it's pretty hot in there, but they have upgraded their roof and they have upgraded their AC from what I hear. So hopefully it's not as stifling hot as it is normally for the Tigers. So when I'm I'm listening to some of the people on the radio, especially my favorite radio station, 105.5 The Roar, and Walt came out and said recently that he thinks he wants to see Justin Ross have a breakout game tonight. Or Friday night. It is tonight, Friday for me, but Justin Ross, he's looking for Justin Ross to have a breakout game. For me, I'm actually the opposite. I'm looking for the running game to continue to do what they did against Boston College. I think that that's something that was a huge success that they can build on. Phil Maffa looks great. Kobe Pace is a good change there between the two. It's a 1-2 punch that Clemson has found. And they can go at you too if they get that confidence. And I think with the offensive line the way it is, they can be, they can have some confidence going in, have some encouragement going in with their running game because they changed some things around. So let's look at the depth chart here. I've got Jordan McFadden, Paul T.O., and Marcus Tate sharing the left guard responsibility. I've got center Matt Bockhorst or Hunter Rayburn sharing the responsibility there. Right guard Will Putnam or Bockhorst sharing the responsibility there. And then right tackle Walker Park. So they're still trying to work out what they're going to do with their starting five, their most consistent starting five. For me, I personally would like to see Rayburn stay at center, see how he can maintain that, and see if Bockhorst needs to be at right guard. If he's not at right guard, then and Will Putnam is ready to go, that's maybe why you see Bockhorst at center and then Will Putnam at right guard. So maybe starting out, they come out Bockhorst and Putnam in those roles, and then they switch them out and rotate as the game goes on. Again, looking behind them, though, Kobe Pace and Phil Maffa are key. And I would say this, too. The reason why I stick to that DJ is the number one for me when it comes to this offense improving is because he is a key factor in not only the passing game, but in the running game. He has to be able to be a threat in the RPO. And right now, as what we've seen, he is not. Most of the times when he gets to the mesh point, he gives the ball to the running back. And that consistently has been causing stuffed runs up the middle. If he is going to improve and the offense is going to improve, he needs to take the ball himself and run with it. On the flip side, I saw Coastal Carolina play last week, and I saw that they were doing some designed runs where they were doing some non-traditional fullbacks. They don't really use a fullback. They're in a pistol formation. And what they would do is they would use the tight end as their fullback. They'd put the tight end in motion and have the tight end be the blocker. And instead of blocking for the running back with the ball, they'd block for actually the quarterback who keeps it in the RPO. If they weren't using the tight end, I saw a few times where they're actually using the wide receiver to be the lead blocker for the quarterback. Again, RPO, quarterback keeps it and continues on. Now, there's a lot of other things that allow those things to happen, but I would like to see Clemson use some non-traditional ways of getting the running game going rather than just that simple, spread offense RPO where it's just either DJ or Kobe Pace or DJ or Phil Maffa. I'd like to see some little bit of changes there and wrinkles to see what Clemson can do. Again, that opens up other things and hopefully will open up a play action pass that maybe then allow, as Walt said, Justin Ross to open it up downfield. I agree with Walt in the sense that if you're the coach for the Clemson Tigers, you know that DJ is got a cannon of an arm. Put it to use. I'm not saying every single first down, but it's going to be very important that DJ be able to throw down the field as far as he possibly can. If one of those hits for a big play, it could be huge for not only the confidence in DJ, but in the wide receiver, in the offensive line, in the entire offense for sure. So, but again, I think you keep building on the running game. I think you keep building on Pace and Maffa, the 1-2 punch there, and hopefully that will allow a play action pass as it continues to go. Now, on the flip side, what I like to do, you guys have watched the show before, I like to go on to some of the rivals articles and websites and see what they are saying about the Clemson and Syracuse game. When I look at, I'm looking at SB Nation, for example. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of their writers, and it was surprising to me. Not one of the writers chose Syracuse to win the game. I don't really understand that. I feel like if you're Syracuse, you got to be pretty confident with what you've seen the last two weeks with Schrader and Tucker just eating up a ton of yards in the running game. But they having kind of the same issue that Clemson is having, whereas they can't get into the end zone in the red zone. Clemson also is struggling scoring when they get into the red zone. And so that's what a lot of those analysts are saying, is that they believe that it'll be a close game because both teams don't seem to score a ton, but they also believe that Syracuse won't be able to do enough to win the game. And that is coming from Syracuse analysts. So some have out there 17-13 Clemson, 20-3 Clemson, 21-17 Clemson, 19-6 Clemson, 24-20 Clemson. So again, if you're looking at the spread though, minus 13.5 right now. Last time I checked on OddsShark, let's go look. Yes, so minus 13.5. This consensus right now, 60% for the computer says to pick Clemson. And for the population is overwhelmingly Syracuse right now. So seems like most people are continuing with the trend. And I heard some people ask on social media, why is Clemson continuing to be a double-digit favorite when they're obviously struggling to score? And I think it goes back to the fact that everyone, Clemson fans, non-Clemson fans, analysts, bettors, Vegas, everyone is expecting DJU and the Clemson Tiger offense to figure it out. And maybe, just maybe, after the bye week, that this is the week that they do it this Friday night. And it very well could be. It's tough. It's been difficult for me to pick against Clemson in the picks against the spread and consistently win with that. It has been very disheartening for me to say, I'm going to pick the plus 14 3 weeks in a row and pretty much bank that that's going to be a win. Well, that's basically how it's been for the past couple of weeks. Some other things to think through is the interior line. Obviously, you know what Syracuse is going to do. They're going to run you with Garrett Schrader. I know what you transfer portal junkies are going to say. Garrett Schrader is a transfer portal guy. If he eats up a bunch of yards and beats this team, I'm not going to let you hear the end of it about a transfer portal quarterback. That's your right. I know he's a transfer portal quarterback. But I will say that he is definitely someone, I can agree, he is definitely someone who has changed the offense look of the Syracuse Orange. Tommy DeVito did not work out, and so they got him in there, and he has been doing a lot better for them. Sean Tucker as well, one of the best rushers in the nation. And so that 1-2 punch is for Syracuse, they definitely have. It's interesting to say because Clemson has a 1-2 punch, as I mentioned now, and Syracuse has a 1-2 punch. So we'll see what they can do. I'd like to see DJ make it a 1-2-3 punch in that running game for Clemson. Who will win in the interior line? For me, it's not just about the interior line. I do feel like Rukaroro and Trey Williams and Capehart, those guys have been really stepping up and doing well for the defensive line. The defensive ends for Clemson, KJ Henry making a key play before the bye week to beat Boston College, and then XT making some big-time sacks when the Tigers need it. The defensive ends for Clemson have just been doing so great this year, and the defensive tackle position is also pretty stacked as far as depth. So I think that Clemson can continue. And I think one of the big major factors is the linebackers behind them. You're looking at Skalski, Spector, and Simpson. Those guys behind them, and then you throw in Bentley and Patterson and some other guys. Those guys back there making up that group of seven, is going to be very difficult for anybody to run on. You know Clemson is one of the best defenses in the nation, and we'll see what Clemson can do or what Syracuse can do against them. On the flip side, though, Syracuse does not have a bad defense at all. One of the better defenses in the ACC as well. So, who can establish the run game first? We'll see. That'll be one key for me. Another thing is, can they use the deep ball as far as Clemson is concerned? Like we mentioned before, can Justin Ross get open deep and take advantage of those opportunities? Like I mentioned before as well, can DJ be a factor in the running game? And then the red zone, what can the teams do? Who's going to be able to score and have more success in the red zone? A lot of fans out there saying maybe, just maybe, BT Potter will be the leading scorer for this game as well. I'm not completely opposed to having the BT Potter be the leading scorer and win games for Clemson, but for this team to continue their success and continue to win games and finish being 10-2 in the regular season, they gotta find something on offense. Now, when I look at PFF, they're saying that they are trending more towards Clemson being a 14-point favorite. So they would say at 13.5, you should pick Clemson. And their biggest reasoning behind that being, again, the fact that Clemson has been playing so poorly that there has to be eventually a breakout game. I'd like to know what you think in the comments. Is this the game that Clemson will break out and show what they are capable of on offense? Or is this just another one of those games where it's going to be a nail-biter to the very end, and hopefully the defense can stack up? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us over on Facebook. Oh, and by the way, Twitter @TheMorganT Show.